All right. All right. I was having some technical difficulties this morning because I'm still I'm still figuring out this YouTube business. So it's weird because if I'm going with like a regular live stream, it will it'll properly do things like the non mirror imaged way. But if I'm doing things from webcam, it for some reason it's like automatically set to flip mirror image, and I'm not sure where that setting is, if that's like in my software or if that's a YouTube thing. It's really confusing. So I had to stop and start things a little bit and kind of went a little haywire here. I was ready to start on time, but yeah. So that's why everything's flipped, or maybe it's always been flipped. I'm not really sure. Anyway, we'll figure these things out eventually. So today, I wanted to talk about our stream title, documenting your hobbies. Um, I've had a lot of hobbies in my life, a lot of things that I enjoy doing. I've always had a day job, which is teaching. I started that straight out of college. I started teaching, but I've always been interested in a bunch of random little things, art, design. Eventually got into woodworking and wood shop because that kind of landed in my lap, and that was a job where I kind of had to grow into it to really love what I was doing with that. It certainly wasn't my first choice of passions, but I grew into it. And so I've had a lot of hobbies over the years. I've done painting. I've done drawn comics, web comics. I design for some really terrible designs that I've come up with that I don't really like anymore. Briefly trying to get into various instruments, and one thing that typically I have in common with all of my hobbies is that they usually don't last very long. I see something that's really interesting and I do it for a while, pursue it for a while, and then I get okay at it, and then I kind of lose interest. And that's just me. That's what I know of myself. I tend to lose interest on certain things, and the things that I don't lose interest on that I keep doing though, those stick around for the long haul, and that's kind of how I operate. And I used to feel sorry for myself for working that way, but I've kind of had to learn to sort of get over myself when dealing with that kind of business. But one of the things that I always do kind of regret over the years is not doing enough documentation of my hobbies. Not taking enough pictures. That's kind of one regret that most people seem to have when looking back at their life or the experiences that they had with people is not taking enough pictures, not taking enough videos, not writing enough about it, not documenting what they're doing. Because years down the road, when you're trying to tell somebody, yeah, I used to do this, I used to be involved in that, you don't have a picture to show them. You don't have something where you can be like, oh yeah, this is me doing this cool thing. You just kind of tell it. You can't show it. You can only tell, and that's that's not as fun. So this is partly why I started on this journey of doing YouTube. Is that I realize I'm getting to a point in my life where I realize, no, I really should be documenting the things that I'm doing. Even if it's just like, it doesn't have to be finished or polished, the behind the scenes stuff. And the nice thing is we're at a point in society where people actually like that sort of thing. They like this amateur, this amateur feeling where you're kind of watching somebody go through the process of learning and discovering. I mean, it's fun watching the professionals who have been doing something for 10 years, just be masters at their craft. And that's a lot of fun, but it's also kind of fun watching people sort of figure it out as they go. And that's partly why Twitch streaming is so popular, not just for the myths and the shrouds and the ninjas out there, but, just the people with, 100 viewers or 50 viewers or something, they're not professionals. Or, maybe they are working professionally, but hey, Sam, what's up, buddy? Sam's a good friend of mine. The professionals out there, yeah, it's fun to watch, but it's also fun to watch these people who are don't really know what to do, who are kind of figuring out as they go. And it's a great time to be involved in something like that and to get started in this, is this sort of documenting this amateur journey along some sort of hobby or practical interest or impractical interest for that matter. So documenting what I'm doing. I'm doing YouTube around the same time I've had an Instagram for a long time. And if you want to check out my Instagram, it's linked down below in the description. I have a Twitter account for ages back when I first started painting for my Lauer Artworks business. And I never really did anything with it, but when I started my YouTube channel, I started getting back into Instagram, started getting back into Twitter, because I was just like, I pulled back from Facebook a bit because that was getting a little too personal, toxic. It's everybody thinks every social media platform is toxic and terrible, but it's really who you engage with and how you engage with it. And I kind of needed a change of venue a little bit. I found myself getting in a little bit too involved in the Facebook stuff. The Facebook debates that aren't really debates. And I didn't really need that in my life at this point. So I moved on to Twitter and more Instagram, and I've been really happy with that because it's, I'm keeping things a lot more professional, friendly, professional, kind of. And it's good ways to get thoughts out there, sort of my working feelings and thoughts along this process, and getting those documented. And then who knows, maybe I'll do something with that later on. Maybe I'll write a book someday, years down the road, of my journey along this process, or some sort of self-help manual or something. But yeah, just documenting all this stuff. Taking pictures, taking videos of the things that I'm doing, and using that. Yeah, I'm doing that for a purpose. It's not just to have a big scrapbook. Eventually I want to build up a media portfolio so that I can monetize that and get some other income streams. I mean, that's the business side of it. We document things. We curate this sort of hey, Zach, what's going on, man? We curate this sort of personal museum of skills and experiences, and then we can leverage that. We can leverage that into a business. So it's not just making a scrapbook of the life and times of Mr. Lauer, or whatever Mr. or Mrs. or in between you may be. It's very much creating a portfolio that you can leverage into a business someday, hopefully a business someday. And that's to me, I like that. Some people, they get really nervous by the business side. I fully admit I'm not a business guy, but we live in an information age. We really do. It's a digital information world. We're fully immersed in that. And creating that personal capital, that creative personal capital, is that it's not a bad thing, because you're helping other people along their own journey, inspiring other people to take up whatever hobby or thing that you might be interested in, getting them enthused about the things that you're enthused about. But what I wanted to actually plug today, and I'm really proud of her for this. My wife, recently, as in like this past week, or I think a couple days ago, finally launched her blog, um, which is right here, like that OBS transition. Yeah, that's what I was messing with. I was trying to get that not to display backwards. But yeah, so yeah, I posted this on my Instagram and Twitter and stuff, but here it is also on my YouTube now. I'm super proud of my wife for coming up with this. She recently launched her new blog. She is, if you know, she's a big into knitting. That's like her main hobby. She's been part of the Ravelry community for years now, and she's actually designed and sold patterns on Ravelry, through Ravelry, on Ravelry. I don't know what the terminology is, but she is a pattern designer, and she's been selling some of her patterns for some time now. And I recently convinced her to start her own platform, start her own website for a blog, and she can use that to make to do bloggy type stuff. Part of a blog is writing your thoughts, and there's a little journal aspect to it, but it's not like the old days of like MySpace and LiveJournal. I know I'm dating myself here, but you guys know I'm old. But it's not just about journaling your thoughts. It's also providing content, for people to use. She has a bunch of patterns on here. Let me get the site up. Independent knitwear designer who loves all things yarny and colorful, and that is absolutely 100% true and accurate. Also, she's a great teacher and coach and mentor and educator. But this is what she likes doing on the side. Like, she's always sitting on the couch and knitting. I say like she's always sitting on the couch, like, she's not always sitting on the couch, but she's always knitting is what I'm trying to say. She always has knitting needles in her hands when she's not, busy doing mom things, which if you're a mom, you understand. But she has her designs available on Ravelry. So there's her Ravelry shop, and this is one of her first designs, was a little Doctor Who cowl thing. It's our buddy Brennan. This is me back when I had longer hair, before I got haircut several haircuts ago, and much more beard. So yeah, she has some designs, and then she has been blogging about some of her designs, has some talks about that. And then she just had a new blog post drop today, which I think is the 8th. Yeah, Yarn Mail. And so she gets to talk about some of the products that she's using, the needles she likes, and little personal stories and stuff. So if you have any knitters in your life, or if you are interested in taking up knitting, then definitely follow knitnote.net, written by Nat. I love the alliteration. She's an English major type, so that totally makes sense. But yeah, so I'm really proud of her because she's starting this journey of documenting this love, this hobby, this lifestyle that she's been involved with for a long time. And she got started because of enthusiasm by other people. She got started in knitting because our friend Alexis brought over knitting one time years ago, and Natalie was really interested in that. It's like, oh yeah, I always thought that was really cool. Can you teach me? And so she taught her, and then she started getting her own equipment and her own yarn, and knitting all the time. And it's been a lot of fun for her. She's always asked me to try on designs, and what do you think about these colors? And I'm like, they're colors, they look great. I try to be helpful, but I don't know how much help I am half the time. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm trying to plug this blog that my wife made because I'm proud of her. But documenting your journey, documenting what you do along the way, and it's not, you don't just have to show off finished products. You can show off the in betweens. You can show off the progress. You can show off the little incremental bits of whatever it is that you're doing, because people are interested in that. When people are starting on their own journey through a hobby or an activity, or even a new job for that matter, they like seeing the in betweens, the amateur stuff. They like seeing the mistakes. They like hearing about the difficulties that you had with one type of material versus another, or one tool versus another. And that's what I'm finding. That's what I used to really get tripped up on is, and a lot of people do too, is this idea that, oh, I have to just show the finished product. And no, you don't. Like, it's good to go for a finished product, but you don't just have to showcase the finished product. You can showcase all the in-betweens and stuff. But documenting what you do, taking pictures, writing about it, being involved in a community where people can see what your work looks like, and just getting yourself out there. And then it may take a while, but before too long, you become a respected member, a recognized name in a certain community, and then you're trusted. You can be looked at as a source for information, and that can be valuable. And that all feeds into, if you want to do what you love, if you have a hobby that you want to turn into a job or a business, and you want to do that for a living, whether it's knitting or woodworking or playing video games and streaming on Twitch or doing YouTube or anything, sharing what you know, sharing what your progress is, talking about it, documenting it, that is all extremely valuable. It's as valuable, if not more, than just having a finished product, really. Okay, so I think I've gushed enough about this. Nat, I'm super proud of you. This is really cool. And she took all these pictures herself. Like, I even offered, like, hey, I got my nice camera. I can take some pictures for you. And she's like, yeah, I got an iPhone. It takes great pictures. And it does. It really does. She's taken all these pictures herself. Well, okay, I may have helped with some of them, but most of these pictures she's taken herself. So anyway, I love that little move slide. That's going to be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out knitandnote.net, there's should be a link in the description right now. If not, I'll check that and make sure that's down there. But make sure you follow her blog, bookmark it. She's still building it out, so she hasn't got her mailing list out yet. But that'll come eventually. Like I said, it just launched this week, so there's going to be lots of opportunity for growth and progress along that line. But yeah, check out knitandnote.net. And with that, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one.